everyone, and welcome to Eternal X Wolfpack Paranormal. And tonight we have a great guest sitting backstage. We got Mr. Alfredo Mancilla backstage from Spector Investigations and Paranormal Society. We'll be talking to him and see how he got into the paranormal field and some of the things he thinks about, and etc. Hello, Moose. Long time no see, buddy. So let's bring on Alfredo. How you doing, bud?
How's it going, Sean?
Oh, I'm hanging in there. Didn't really feel like watching the Super Bowl, so we'll make a show of our own.
Who was your team? Who did you want to see?
I haven't watched football in about 8 years, so I kind of gave up pro football, but I'll watch college.
That's funny because, like, if you were to ask me the same question, I would have been like, the better team, I guess. I haven't watched American football in years either, so I was just at a Super Bowl party just before the stream, and I was just there for the food and for the company. So
that's probably about the best thing it is about the Super Bowl parties anymore, because it's just, to me, it's not football anymore. Like I said, I'll watch the college games, and I like the younger guys when they're playing because it seems like they go all out, but it seems like the pros don't play like they used to.
Yeah. And the only football I actually watch is European football. So I'm a huge Liverpool fan. So any soccer fans, European football fans out there, I'm a huge Liverpool fan. So if you want to give me any gifts, anything Liverpool. You'll never walk alone.
Now, are we talking the soccer, or are we talking like the football over there?
The soccer, the real football. I'd consider that the real football.
Soccer. All right. I know because I do like the Barcelona Dragons when they do play. If I ever did get a chance to see them, I did like them guys. So I just wanted to verify that real quick, because I know they call soccer football over there as well. But because my daughter was a big soccer player in high school, so I had to go quite a few soccer games back in the day. So, but yeah, it's definitely interesting.
All right.
So, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, Alfredo?
Well, my name's Alfredo. I am from the Quad Cities here on the border of Iowa and Illinois. I've been investigating for I can say a year now. As far as being my interest in the paranormal, I've always been interested in the macabre, the different things that most people would run away from or be shy from. Plus, I've always grown up like not wanting to listen to adults very much when they tell you, oh, you don't want to, you need to be good, or here I am rambling. So,
all good.
Well, basically, when they tell you like you need to be scared of something, I would be that person. Why is it scary? If it like, you know what I mean? If you see like a huge gigantic spider or something, I'd be the one that go towards it, not run away from it.
Right.
And I was always raised to be like, no, you're supposed to be afraid of that. Get over here. But that's not me. I like to figure things out.
Yeah, I mean, I'm the same way. I want to go find out why it does that. I mean, I don't want to be sitting in the background. It's like, hey, wait, what the heck? There's got to be something to this, But yeah, I definitely agree with that. I actually go toward it as well. Hello, Joe. How are you tonight?
Yeah, I've always had a curious mind, which led me into going to school for electronic engineering technology. And right now I'm going to school for information technology. So I'm always fascinated about learning. I'm always learning, trying to figure out how things work. So when it comes to the paranormal, the things that cannot be explained, those are the things that give me a rush. So a lot of things that can be debunked or tested and proven, those things are great. But the things that are unexplained, that's what we all look for, to try to find the explanation.
So. Definitely so. I mean, it's definitely, once it gets in your veins, is what I call it, and you getting bit by the paranormal, how I say it is, you're always looking for what and how.
Yep.
and wanting to understand what's going on, because I mean, I've seen some pretty bizarre stuff in the time I've been in the paranormal field, and I've done a lot of reading and etc. for studying and things, and it just all falls into play now. And
Mhm.
the more I dig into it, the deeper the rabbit hole gets. Is that how you feel?
Yeah, it, it's a bottomless pit. Most definitely. When you think you've got something figured out, something uh, out of left field happens, and you go chase that and wonder why. You're always retesting the scientific method. You know.
Mm-hmm. Because I'd rather debunk it first to find out if it's something within our realm. But if you
Mhm.
have no answers for it, then you've got to classify it as something else.
Right, and even speaking with colleagues too, as well, because uh, for example, when I did this case in Des Moines last year in April, uh, there was a family that was being bothered by being woken up at night, feeling touched, hearing scratches in the wall or tapping, also seeing shadows out of peeping out of the corners of their home, and it was only affecting uh, the mother and the daughter.
Mm,
The husband wasn't really receptive. I don't know if it was mostly because he was very skeptical. I mean, he was aware of these things going on, but he wasn't paying attention to them. He
right.
just blew them off. And then, but the daughter was experiencing things that made her feel uneasy and uncomfortable. Um, so I ended up myself and my colleague Tony Caudill um, ended up making a trip to Des Moines, which is about 3 hours from here, and that's where
Mhm.
the case was at. And uh, we we had a, we decided to stay the night there, and we had EVP sessions, we had tripwire, black light, even, and um, the first night there, we ended up hearing. I ended up hearing some tapping in the walls and stuff, and I was like, okay, well, we need to get like an exterminator out here because I can't
Mhm.
explain that, and I don't have access to those places that in the
Mhm.
walls and stuff,
Right.
and so we did hear these type of things. Um, so we ended up
Hey,
later on.
Logan.
Hey, Lily. After that, we ended up recommending the family to get a hold of a pest control to search for any rodents in the house because the house was located next to a creek in an open field. So there could have been mice or some type of rodents or birds in the home. And turns out after they had the pest control out there, they said the house was clean. They didn't see any evidence whatsoever of droppings of rodents. Surprisingly, they said it was
Mhm.
actually pretty clean for the location.
Right.
So um, we did capture some recordings of some tapping. Um, I also have some video footage of that I can bring up if you'd like to see.
Yeah. I mean, if you got a chance,
Yeah,
we'll definitely look at it.
let me pull it up real quick. So
So, do you think the mother and the daughter was more empath than the father or the man there at the house at the time, and that's why they were picking up on all this?
yes, I want to say they were more sensitive to those type of things. I don't want to say it's because they were female or not,
Hmm.
because I'm a male, but yeah, I'm very sensitive to these things as well. So
Right.
there's there's a lot of us that are born with these type of inherent gifts that we're not aware of, and we
Right.
either ignore them or we train them to
More
be able to better,
enhanced.
yeah, to become
Yeah.
more intuitive. So I'll go ahead and this is gonna look weird for a second. Bear with
Okay.
me.
All right.
So all right. Now this right here is the tripwire here. So backstory: the owners of the home, they purchased the home a few years ago. The previous owner of the house, we did confirm from county records that they did pass away in the house.
Mm-hmm.
in the basement area.
Okay.
And the house did sit for several months. And when the new owners purchased the house, and instead of getting the whole carpeting removed, they just had it professionally cleaned, steam cleaned.
Gotcha.
So when that happens, there's a chance of seeing possible fluids or residue left behind
Mm-hmm. Right.
using black light. So this is what this is here. Myself, you hear myself. First, you'll hear Tony in the background, and then you'll hear myself trying to make contact.
Okay.
Whoa. There you go again. Could you stand back away from that, please? Thank you. Can you light these up red again when I count to 3? 1, 2, 3. Where's the try?
It's definitely trying.
Yep. Let's try that again. 1, 2, 3. Wow.
It looks like it'll get 2 or 3 at a time, or maybe 4 at a time.
Thank you for making it light up, but could you step up? Thank you. All right. How do you want to proceed, Tony? Circle of doom and do an S's method, spirit box, or EVP? We were excited.
We do a spirit box. We got EVP
Mhm.
running, so
Okay. All right.
we can do it at the same time.
And then this next one's just without the tripwire.
Right.
You could see the along here.
Mm-hmm. I can see it with the black light.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, there's an impression right there.
Yeah.
So would you say that was an intelligent one or a residual?
So this, I want to say it could have been a mixture of both because as we proceeded through the investigation, we were getting responses of Masonic origins. I am Freemason myself, and the person that had passed in the house was a former Mason.
Mm.
So I did end up bringing some of my my accessories. I had my Masonic ring, and I had my Illinois monitor with me, with some of the words that we use in lodge,
Right.
and we every time we would get responses on the light or the REM pod. I don't have videos of those with me right now because this is a new laptop. So we were trying to figure out ways to share the screen, but we were getting intelligent responses. There's some things I don't want to disclose because there's some things that was pretty disturbing as far as like just the way it happened. It was very sad.
Right.
But we ended up having a meeting with the family and share that video with them. After I do have more videos I'd like to show you sometime. I've got I had activity from a laser grid. There was tapping on the wall, audible tapping. I think I've got that on here.
Okay.
I apologize for not being better prepared for
It's perfectly fine. We can definitely have you on again before the end of the year. That's not a problem.
All right. But yeah, it was pretty interesting what was going on there. So we ended up doing some lighting some white candles,
Mm-hmm.
having sage, and just walking around the house, light prayers, hoping for good intentions, having windows open
Mm-hmm.
to release all whatever negative energy that was in there was making the family uncomfortable.
Right.
Um, and uh, I haven't heard anything back from the family negative as far as any type of reoccurrences. They haven't noticed anything else happen after we've been there, so I feel like that was a success.
Yeah,
Um,
I would say so.
so
So no more knocking and no more just odd stuff then at all.
right,
So not in a super lot of details. You said the young girl was feeling uncomfortable. Was it because of the presence was lingering around her all the time?
yeah, it seemed like it was like when she was dressing or when she'd be sleeping, um, and would uh, the mother ended up having an episode where she was in her laundry room and she was vacuuming, and there was a shadow that was just watching her from right behind, and she turned away and it ended up tapping her on her shoulder and took off. So they didn't feel comfortable being touched or
Mhm.
feeling like they're being watched all the time. And there were some concerns that they may have had an attachment with them that may not have been
Hmm.
from the spirit that was in the house. We were getting impressions that there was more than one spirit.
Hello, Raven.
Um, so I did not feel any negative impression from who I believe to have been the deceased person that was a Mason.
Hmm.
I feel like they were trying to protect them from whatever was attached to that family.
Okay.
I know sometimes there can be transient spirits in and out of the house, or um, there could be how you say that spirit that was there, but
Hmm.
it was hard to tell until I don't know. It was just a very crazy experience. I know I'm leaving out a lot of detail. It's just I'm
Right.
trying to not give out too much detail without
Right.
giving out
I
the family's
know.
identity.
I guess the reason why I asked when I said is because the mom and the daughter, being possibly empath, I noticed because I've had two daughters, and watching them grow up and stuff. And I noticed, when females go through their cycles, it seems like they attract some of these spirits once in a while because of their cycle, you know.
Mhm.
And my daughters have witnessed, shadows on the walls and shadows, lurking from a distance that gives them that eerie feeling. But I think it's because their sensitivity is so hyped up at the time when they're going through all this
Mhm.
and their changes and stuff. So that's kind of why I asked, between, the lady and the daughter, feeling more empathic or more sensitive around compared to the father at the time. And
Mhm.
if the father even actually acknowledged it, or he just said, this is just hokey stuff.
Mhm.
So I guess I ran across, a lot of women that actually sense faster than some guys.
Mhm.
So that's why I asked the way I asked.
And it makes sense too because uh, they're more nurturing. They could be more receptive to that thing. So if as a child we tend to look for our mothers for more of a sensitive nature, if we want some type of care, if we want some type of stern you know discipline, we go to our fathers or something.
Right.
So the female divine is more along those lines.
Hmm. I definitely agree with that too as well. So, what made you really dig into the paranormal yourself? I mean, did you ever have an experience back in your time that said, "Hey, I want to know more"?
Yeah. That is back in 2018. I had my a huge awakening of being able to see things that many people weren't able to see. Um, yeah, even thinking about it, it seemed kind of traumatic. Everyone's first, I don't know if it's ever happened to you when you first like came to realize when you've had a huge experience that just like shook you to the core and just made you question everything about reality.
There was there was a time right before I got married because I grew up Catholic, and my wife or my fiance at the time when I got married, she was already married before, so we couldn't get married in the Catholic Church because of those reasons. And so I went to the next step, and we went to the Lutheran side of it. And when I was going through baptism there, I was going through the stages of that baptism to be accepted into her church. And I started having dreams. And those dreams are very vivid. And I would see things as like you couldn't explain it. And I even had a dream about the trade centers when they fell, things like that happening, and our troops being overseas in tunnels that were collapsing because they were under there going through certain destinations through the tunnels in the ground and having collapses on them. Um, but yeah, I mean, between that and the time slip and the dreams that I would have at the time it was crazy. It got me to the point I just stopped going to church for a while because it was so vivid and everything was coming true. It was crazy. And then about 6 years ago was when I got back into the paranormal. I mean, I've always believed in it and I've always followed it and I've always liked it. And then I met the team I was on and started going through my Akashic records and Tammy giving me my Manaki rights. I started having more dreams and stuff, and things kept getting more vivid.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, I mean, I understand feeling the energy and seeing those things, and it does stand out. Some people can do it, some people can't. And like I said, the more you meditate and concentrate on it and focus on it, you hype it up, you personify it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
And I feel that's kind of where I'm at as far as with my sensitivities as well, because trying to find the right. I've been trying to look for mentors who could guide me in how to navigate these skills, the skill set, and it's been very difficult at times because first and foremost, I will say this now that I've been to therapy. I've been misdiagnosed several times, and it got to the point to where I actually had to go to Mayo Clinic, which is one of the best doctors in the world,
Mm-hmm.
or best hospitals in the world. And I was there for evaluations, and it turns out that I was misdiagnosed by several doctors here locally, and they were just able to determine that I just suffer from post-traumatic stress disorder and also depression. So, and there is no type of psychotics or anything going on. So everything that I was sharing with them, everything that they tested me on, there's something there. And they never gave me medication that I needed to be on, maybe for some anxiety, but that's pretty much it. And, but coming back home and trying to find and meet with people that say, "Oh, I'm a psychic and I'm seeing these things," or I see spirit or I'm sensing these things, and the person that claims to be a psychic or sensitive, they're saying they're ignoring them. Maybe they're on a different wavelength. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But when you know when someone's full of it.
Oh yeah.
And it's very frustrating. So it comes to the point like, what do you do? Do you just sit there and be quiet because these these people have uh, uh, a social standing and you're just starting out and they can destroy you, or do you stand up? So you just trying to find that happy medium of like, I'm there for the spirits and I'm not there for anyone's ego or egregores.
Oh,
So
definitely so. Yeah, I mean, I used to watch, quite a few podcasts, on a nightly basis, and some of the podcasts that I've watched, and we had this discussion on the round table. There's some of them that your bullshit meter just goes off,
yeah.
and I can't watch it anymore. I just can't, and it's the same thing over and over. It's nothing different. It's the same theory, same person, same type of spirit, and nothing changes. And they keep just dragging this out.
Mm-hmm.
Or, you'll catch them throwing rocks or pebbles across the damn room to make a sound, which
Mm-hmm.
we've known that's happened back in the past before with certain teams we've heard about. I'm like you, I'm in it for the long haul to understand what's going on, why it's going on, and to learn the knowledge from it. And when people start doing that, it makes a bad name for the paranormal field.
Mm-hmm. And it's not like, and here's another thing too, there's people that are very experienced and they tend to gatekeep, which is understandable because there's a lot of like inaccuracies or false evidence out there. But then you'll get those that are really good at what they do, but they won't give you the time of day because they just want to protect it and don't want to share any
Mm-hmm.
knowledge and to help you improve. So it's like, what do you do? So basically, I've been fortunate enough to meet you, and you've been a great, somewhat of a mentor toward me, giving me guidance on some cases that I've worked on, even a recent one I've been on.
Mm-hmm.
You've given me some guidance on that. Just trying to find those people that are on the same path. And it doesn't mean like, I don't feel like I'm special. I don't feel like I'm better than anyone else,
Right.
but I'm not going to diminish that I'm different and I'm sensitive to these things. My entire life, I've had to wear a mask of being accepted by someone else. And I'm just tired of it. I'm 44 years old. And even to this day, I've been doing it. And recent events had led me to feel like I can't do it anymore. And I just need to speak up, not just for myself, because it's doing a number on me, not leaning into this and just
Yeah.
trying to put a mask on and be okay. Yeah. Go ahead. But it can't be like that anymore. It's not fair to me, and it's not fair to any spirits that are there that are being ignored. And that's what happens in some of these cases. Some of these spirits are being ignored because we're feeding into someone's ego, and these spirits want to move on.
Oh yeah.
They want to move on. They want answers themselves. And I know that if I was to linger on this earth after I pass away, and for some reason I have unfinished business that I need to tend to for whatever reason, there's specific people that will know that I will try to communicate with.
Oh yeah.
So I'll be damned for someone to say that they knew me and that I'm speaking to them, and yet I'm not speaking to them, or I'm not like assisting them, because I've had an experience where someone says where they still have contact with this person every day because they were so close, and I got the impression from that person that they were referring to is like, she's not telling the truth.
Mm-hmm.
They're not telling the truth. I've never said those things. What do I do? Do I make it known, or do I just stay quiet?
Right. I mean, one of the things when I got into the paranormal and actually got established on a team, and I started going through my, learning curve, and starting to learn energy work and the Akashic records and Wiccan and etc. And starting to learn all that, I actually told myself, I'm going to come out. I'm not going to be hiding it anymore. I'm not going to be sitting in the shadows anymore. People can think of what they want, and some people will think you're crazy. Some people will think you're dumb, stupid, or whatever. But until something actually happens to them and they come to you and then you got to explain it and then they find out you're right, it's crazy.
And that's another thing too about being right. We're not going to be right 100% of the time because
True.
it's a learning curve because we're human and we have our own fallacies and we don't always get it right because our own emotions can come into play, or our own thought process, or like tonight, I've been stumbling a lot of my words tonight, which usually doesn't happen too often, but I've been so exhausted with school and trying to find work and everything else that's going on in my day-to-day normal life, and it it can take a toll, and it can skew your results when you're trying to um, communicate or use your intuition. So that's why it's important to get plenty of rest, eat well, and take care of your well-being as well.
Most definitely. And I guess I'm really fortunate as well. If I ever run into a jam or a situation or something I don't understand, I've always got that list of people I can look for answers for,
Yeah.
or I can reach out to, and they will help me. And I am very grateful to have people like that to be able to do that with. And I actually, I'll share my knowledge with people. I'm not afraid to do it.
Yeah. And you've done that, so far, like, with this recent case I'm working on. I turned to you for some advice on how to handle it, and a lot of things were lining up. We were going down that checklist.
Mm-hmm.
You said, did you get the salt, or did you bind it? Did you, and everything else? Yes, affirmative. Yes, it's like, okay, so we're on the same wavelength.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I know that you're one of the very few I can turn to for these type of things that come up.
Yeah, like I said, I'm always willing to share my knowledge, especially if somebody's willing to listen. And not only, sharing that, I mean, I learn from you. I learn from everybody else too, because I may learn a different method from you that I'm not familiar with that may work better for me in the long run.
Mhm.
And you don't know that until you start, comparing things and transcripting back and forth of the information. Because, like I said, some things may work for me, they may not. But one thing I was always told when I started going through my classes, you know, if it works, stick with it. It may not work for you, but I mean, I can give you that knowledge to get you on the right track and set you on that track to help you find it.
Mm-hmm.
So, because you may have a totally different scenario of how things work with it.
Exactly.
And there's no real wrong answer when it comes to that, because if it works for you and it works for me, it's not wrong. It's two rights.
Right. It's how you get that answer, and it's also the intent too. That's very important.
So since you just said that, the intent, what do you think about manifestation?
Oh, I still don't know how to work it very well. Sometimes, like, I manifest things without even realizing it, and but as far as manifesting, like, I do believe, like, that's where egregores come into play too, as well. Are we projecting this? Are we creating this PK activity? Is, like, for example, do you hear a tap on a window,
Mm-hmm.
or and you're there already trying to investigate a possible haunting, and you start hearing a tap on a window or tap on a door or something, and you start to see something move, and it's moving. Now, is that something that is a haunting that's spirit doing, or is that something you're doing and you don't realize that you're doing? And that's I guess that's a type of manifestation of one type of manifestation that we could do, that we project. But then there's manifestations of spirits as well, and that actually manifest themselves. I've actually myself has seen like a mist, an apparition come up. My wife, my brother-in-law, and my mother and stepfather, who were sitting across, all witness something manifest right behind my stepfather, coming around, floated. It looked like steam. Like it looked like a cloud of smoke, but it wasn't dissipating and it wasn't rising up. It was just lingering across. Stood there. And I'm looking at it and I'm trying to figure out. I asked my mom, do you have one of those Febreze misters somewhere going off? Because she likes to have candles and stuff.
Right.
And she says, no, she hasn't bought anything like that. And I said, turn around. And she's looking and she's like, oh, yeah, like it was nothing. And I've got my brother-in-law saying, oh, that's just, steam. I'm like, well, where is that steam coming from? And why is it lingering there? Why is it moving like that? It should have dissipated by now. It shouldn't linger like that.
Now, see, to me, when I see something like that, that's like an energy field in front of me. And it's like the energy waves. You're seeing the different waves in there. You might see it like steam, the way you described it. But to me, it might almost be like an energy field, like the ripple. Kind of like you're looking down a hot asphalt road and you see those vapors coming off the ground. That's how I see energy. So, I mean, you could see it in a different form.
Well, the thing is, we all saw it, which is really cool. And as it was passing by, it was about 4:30 in the afternoon, and the sun was still out. The sun was still shining through the kitchen window, and the rays of light were passing through that mist, that steam cloud, and it looked sparkly. Like it was really cool looking. I've never seen anything like that before, and neither had my relatives that were there, and we all sat there and witnessed it. That was a type of manifestation. I'm not sure if that was something that we were looking into, or myself, because I was working. This is when I was started as an investigator, and I was working on that case in Des Moines. In fact, now that I think about it,
right.
When I came back home and was visiting, so I can't believe I just now tied those together like that. So that all could have been part of the same thing. Who knows?
It's definitely a possibility. I mean, have you ever been on an investigation where you felt like your clients have manifested the things that's going on in the house? Have you come across anything similar to that? Because I know I have.
I have not, no.
Because like I said, sometimes it's their imaginations that'll get away from them that really trip it off, because you'll go back 2 or 3 times and not really find anything. And then it might be a 4th time later down the road, you might find something, but then you could probably maybe debunk it,
Okay.
What's going on in there.
Okay, so yeah, so something like that, how you explained it like that. Now, I have worked with someone with another family that was having experiences like that. I did not find any type of haunting or anything that was related to that, but the individual was very troubled, and for them, the fear was real, and I could sense that from them. And being able to guide them into finding the right type of assistance that they needed. They're still working through things, but they've improved immensely. And that's another side of investigations. It may not be supernatural or paranormal. It may just be someone who needs someone to talk to, or someone who
Well, yeah, most definitely.
who legitimately is suffering from a mental illness that needs to be addressed and not ignored.
I definitely agree with that. I mean, I've also come across some, how do I say, um, people on hallucinogens
Mm-hmm.
and have called and showed pictures and videos at the time. And, sometimes I'll see things in the pictures and I can verify what's in there because, like I'll see it and I understand what they're talking about. And then when you get on top of it and you start looking there and they're there, it's a totally different situation. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
it's not what they presented to begin with, but I mean, you've seen enough to make you curious to go find out why.
Mm-hmm.
And, but like I said, it's sad when it comes down to that because some people, like you said, just need somebody to talk to, listen to, and straighten them out just a little bit and say, hey, this is this and that's that. And it's your imagination or whatever possibly getting away from you at the time as well, you know. But I have been across some cases that that have made the hair stand up on the back of my neck, and but I go toward that situation. I don't run from it, and because I'm curious to why.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I've had this discussion with you. I said if a portal ever opened up in front of me, I'm jumping through. I want to know. You're going to see the last video of me because I'm jumping through there, and then I'll figure out how to get back later. But
You can plan ahead and just, tether yourself and make sure you have a way back.
that's a possibility, but you don't know how that works when you get on the other side either.
That's true. That is very true. You got to be committed. That's commitment right there.
Yeah, like I said, I'm going in. I'll take my phone with me. Whatever you'll say the last video, give it to my family members. I'll come back when I can. But I'm definitely going to find out why or etc. But yeah.
And going back to what you said about hallucinogens. Now I don't want to like throw like titles and stuff like that. I'm also a demonologist, and people that use hallucinogens or drugs to enhance their experience to communicate with spirit, it's very. I don't recommend that because you're opening up a pathway to become taken over, jumped, possessed. I've never personally seen these things happen in front of me, but I've heard stories and I could just imagine. I've seen videos online, whether they're true or not, I don't know, but they were very convincing that you don't want to open yourself up to something like that by taking drugs that's a gateway. that's a gateway. So, I mean, I can't I'm not judging anyone. If you want to experiment, do so in a safe environment. I'm not condoning it, but I'm not condemning it because I experimented back in the day. I mean, and I'm fine, but it's as far as using hallucinogens or type of drug enhancements to improve your ability as an investigator, that should dismiss any type of findings you get. That should not count any type of evidence you gathered if you're under the influence like that, because it's tainted in a way.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, I know people that's been on mushrooms before that's opened up their eye, and even I've heard heroin actually opens up your third eye dramatically.
Mm-hmm.
That they see things that's unexplainable. And I know even during the military time, I think it was during the Vietnam War, they come out with the infrared goggles when they come out with that. Yeah, I don't know if you've heard about that, but when they were using those infrared goggles back then, they were seeing dragons and stuff attacking helicopters, and they were shooting at them.
Wow.
Because of the things they were using inside those lenses. And they got some really crazy shit they were seeing when they were using those lenses back then. And that's when they first come out. So,
and I'm not saying that I understand there's shaman, there's voodoo priestess and doctors that use these type of things as part of their work. Now, when I say you'd have to dismiss anything that they say, it's because as far as an investigator standpoint, you're looking for evidence that you can present that has
Right.
been tested. Now, when you decide to use these things to increase your own spiritual awareness, that's your own personal experience. That's between you and whatever source you're tapping into.
Right.
And that can't necessarily be used as factual evidence of an investigation. I'm not diminishing or dismissing using, in a controlled environment from a
Right.
trained shaman or someone who, works with this stuff. But as far as like investigators just going out back, popping a couple of shrooms and,
Oh,
token
yeah.
on, whatever that's,
Yeah.
you can't use that evidence, bud.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that, especially like right before an investigation or right during mid investigation. You can't be doing that because it will open you up and you will get something pretty messed up for sure. I will agree with that. What do you think about frequencies? I know I like frequencies and crystals and stuff like that. What's your opinion on that?
On crystals, I know I see the functionality and I see the how they work as far as being able to employ them in investigations or in your spiritual work. Also in a technical aspect, as far as like using crystals for powering transistor radios and stuff like that. Crystals, they hold power in them. So I do believe that they have their purposes here. They also they're tools that we can use to help us traverse the spirit realm. And frequencies, I used to DJ for years, and just knowing about how to connect with the crowd with different types of music, tempo, pitch, those all produce some type of frequencies. And
how they affect people.
exactly, music soothes the savage beast. Anytime when I would DJ in a club and a fight is about to break out, I put on Willie Nelson's Band of Brothers. That changes the atmosphere, especially when I'm playing EDM or hip hop. You put on some country, some Willie Nelson, that's going to change. That's going to change the atmosphere.
Darn it! I wanted you to play rock,
But as being able to DJ and work with that type of music and seeing how music frequencies, pitches, and all that stuff works with not just human behavior. As I would play music, the club or the bar usually they want to make money. So if they want to make money, you want to fill it. So you got to get the right music. So as far as getting the right music, finding the right tempo, pitch, key, also the words, the lyrics,
right?
magic spells.
Oh yeah.
I tell you what.
And see, there you go again. Manifestation of words to keep people in line, to keep them.
By the time I decided to retire from DJing, I felt like Doctor Strange, being able to work a room, spinning the table, so rotating the room. People are dancing on the dance floor, and the bar is empty. So I speed up the music to make them work up that thirst.
Yeah.
And then once they get tired enough, I slow it down a little bit. They go to the bar and drink. Another group of people come and are using the dance floor. So then throughout the night, I got it down to the point where so many people will be dancing for about half hour, 40 minutes. They want to get something to drink, slow it down. I found myself rotating the room as I'm rotating the tempo, the music. It was really cool to see. And as far as you asked me about frequency and crystals, I truly see the potential in being able to use these things to interact with on a spiritual and a metaphysical level.
I've actually been in a location in Peoria. I'm not going to exactly say where it's at, but it was like a bar food area type deal, and they had a crystal chandelier there, and there was a band playing there that night, and there was four pillars, metal pillars, in the room, and they were circulated around this big crystal chandelier. And when they would play a certain music, I seen the remnants of that chandelier. It seemed like it was opening up portals because of the crystals and the way they were vibrating. It was crazy. That's the first time I've really seen a portal open up from that type of situation with the way the music and the frequency was going. Mm-hmm. And it just changed everybody in there.
Mm-hmm. I think it's amazing how I met someone that could see sound. Have you ever heard of that?
Mm-hmm. It'd be like, yeah.
I think that would be really cool to experience. People being able to see these waveforms of the different sounds coming at them. So, and it's the same thing with light, people that can read auras. I find that fascinating. I'm not able to do anything like that, but I find it fascinating, people that can.
See, I can't see the sound, but I can definitely pick up the energy around me, the different energy. So when that frequency changes or it drops around me or something changes or the energy shifts around me, I definitely feel it. I can tell it right off the bat.
Yeah, I understand. Like, I think you and I have similar type of, when it comes to that, like you just know it, just, you can't explain it. It just comes on. It's like a wave and you just know. It's like, it feels like something's trying to get your attention. It's like, okay, listen.
Most definitely. And I think some of the people that have anxiety, they walk into a room with all this extra energy, and I think it just overwhelms them. And I don't think, in my opinion, I don't think some people has been explained this enough, but I've seen my daughters had anxiety when they were growing up. And my youngest daughter would play soccer, and when she was active all the time, it balanced itself out. But the fact is, when she wasn't active all the time, and then she would get anxiety, it was like magnified because she didn't have that balance with the energy going back from when she was doing active sports to the things she was picking up. So it would overwhelm her. And, I feel bad for some people that, that get overwhelmed like that, because I do think they're more empathic and more sensitive than some people realize.
Yeah, I've, that's exactly correct. Because before I started leaning towards understanding these gifts, these sensitivities, not understanding why, out of the blue, I would feel overwhelmed. I'd go to the store, or I'd be in a room full of people, and all of a sudden I would feel panic or feel change. And I noticed someone else in the room, where it depends. You ever heard, of course you heard the term read the room.
Mm-hmm.
That's what would happen anytime I'd go out, and I didn't have any guidance on how to cope with that, because I'd get overwhelmed. I'd feel anxious, and it's because they're throwing all that energy out there and they don't realize it. Some of them do, and some of them don't.
Yeah, some of them actually take it away from you.
Yeah, energy vampires.
Yeah, most definitely.
And when you don't understand or don't know what's going on, it's very terrifying, and it makes you more anxious.
Hello, Blaine. How are you doing, bud? But yeah, I mean, even some of disabled people or handicapped people, their sensitivity level has to be through the roof, because they've either lost one of their senses or they're not understanding, and they've they don't have when we were growing up, right or wrong or understanding. They've got their own way of understanding.
Yeah,
So, I feel bad for them because I think sometimes they're magnified too, and people don't understand them as well.
that's very true. I agree with that. And being around people that are handicapped, um, feeling there's like their
All
physical
right, boy.
struggles, their physical struggles, but being able to feel their spirit. I'm sorry, I'm getting choked up thinking about it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, there's been times I've met people that were quadriplegic, and
Mm-hmm.
the spirit that they had with them, the perseverance, the light that they share,
Mm-hmm.
despite their physical ailments, it just those are wonderful people to be around.
And I sometimes I know they can't explain certain things, but man, can you just imagine if they could?
Yeah.
What? How would they teach us? Because I mean, I'm sure they have a lesson for us as well. I mean, if we could understand some of them, and some of them, like I said, some are capable of talking and everything else, but I don't think people pay a lot of attention to what they say.
No, they don't, and it's unfortunate because we they have a lot to say.
Mm-hmm.
They have a lot to share. That they experience, they observe. And
There,
we as a society don't tend to observe as much as we should. We're always on the move, on the go. That's how we're programmed. We got to keep moving, keep moving. But when you're forced to sit, whether it's whether you train yourself to do it or you're, you know, the powers that be tell you you need to sit and wait and observe, the whole world, the whole universe appears different. It doesn't seem real.
right?
Does that make sense?
It does. It definitely does. I was in a situation where I got asked to help out a friend of mine, and they lived in. They were the manager of a disabled house for disability people. And they said they were having issues with one of their residents, and I was like, okay. I said maybe I'll stop by later and I'll sit and talk with him. I like to do things like that, and I used to take one of my friends out for walks that couldn't get out. I'd take him in his wheelchair. We'd go walk around the block just to get him out, and until he passed away. But I was sitting there, and we were talking, and he understood me fine, and he kept looking around. He kept noticing things, and I kept watching what he was watching, and I'd keep seeing certain things that, I said, "What are you looking at?" And he would describe, and I would see what he was seeing. I also realized, he was nervous and that anxiety because he needed something in his life. He needed something extra. Well, come to find out, I said, "Do you like music?" And he goes, "Yeah, I like music." So I got my radio out on my phone, and we started playing music. And I'll be damned, he knew almost every song that come on. He was singing a whole different character. Him come out, and I told the person that was in charge there. I said, "You need to give him his radio back. That's part of his life. That's part of
Mhm.
him. He needs that because that's what makes him happy." And I don't think they realized it, but I mean, he's doing well now. But being able to notice things like that and be able to help people, that's always a good thing.
It is. It's a very humbling experience, and that's another side of the paranormal we don't tend to really talk about. People with our abilities, we're always focused on the scary aspects or the darker side of things as far as the paranormal. Um, there's a lot of light that happens with that as well. A lot of light.
Yeah, sometimes I wish they would pay more attention to some of those people as well, because I think we would learn a lot more in some aspects that we haven't even touched bases with on certain other things, because they see it and perceive it totally different than we do.
Yeah, exactly. And sometimes it's best if we can look at it from another perspective, because we can learn so much more.
And I think that's where a lot of people, I don't think, see that. Come with an open book, and an open mind, because you may be missing something you're not even realizing, and it may make your life totally different, and it could change you.
Yeah.
I mean, if you would have told me 30 years ago that, the things that I know now, I'd have probably laughed about it.
Mm-hmm.
And, the people that's taught me things and opened up my eyes, and it just gives me a whole new perspective on things. And I get to meet people like you, and me and you get to talk, and we compare notes and etc. And, and you constantly learn. When you quit learning, you might as well just even get out of this field.
Mm-hmm.
When you stop learning, because I don't think you'll ever stop learning.
No, we never will. And it's just like how we continue to grow and expand our ability to communicate with the unseen, or to be able to have our skills or sensitivities. Uh, they're always growing. They're always evolving. Right now, I'm going through another round of shadow work, and it's not easy. And
It can be tough. It definitely can be tough, going through, digging out certain things. And, you either got to accept some things, or you've got to be able to work with it. And sometimes people can't get around that.
right, and shadow work is never done. It's a, I don't want to say it's a tool. It's a cycle that we all, if we choose to go through, well, I don't want to say we choose. We eventually go through it whether we like it or not.
Right.
Is whether or not we accept it and work with it. Um, some people call it fighting our demons or what have you, but it's something that every so often we have to go through. And I'm going through it now, and I know I'm going to persevere through it, because 2018 I went through it and I made it through. And if I was to compare now and then, as far as my progress has been, I want to give myself credit. I've evolved immensely, and I've grown immensely, and I'm grateful for that.
Mm-hmm.
As hard as it's been, and as hard as it is now, it's a battle. And I know there's not just the positive forces rooting for me. There's also, I don't know, there's sometimes I get a sense that there's some people that want to see me fail, that don't want to see me succeed. And I don't like to say I have haters, but I having that sense, there's always got to be one or two that want to see you fail, because for whatever reason, their issues. But I'm still here. I want to make it known I'm still here. I'm not going anywhere, and I'm only getting bigger and stronger. So look out.
Yeah. I mean, I think Victor said one time, when me and him were talking with Victor Santiago, he said, those haters, he said, that's what drives me. He said, because they can't do what we do, or they can't do what they want to do.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why they always downlook on people, because they're looking at the people they want to be or be able to do, and they can't do that, and they don't understand why. So it drives you. I mean, you're always going to have the people that don't like you, and etc. And it took me a long time to understand this terminology too. because I always heard it when I was a kid, but it finally hit me about 6 years ago. Birds of a feather flock together.
Mm-hmm.
People that are on the same page, the same frequencies, they attract to each other. The other ones, they just are what they are.
Yeah.
And you could have somebody that just keeps having bad luck constantly,
Mm-hmm.
but until they stare it in the face and change something, they can't help themselves.
Right.
And you can't do nothing for them until they do it themselves to accept it.
Right. And for me, it's not a competition. For me, it's never a competition. I want to see everyone succeed. I want to see myself succeed. I want to see you succeed. I want to see others succeed. And it's never been a competition. I find joy and I find comfort knowing that so and so has, made it to the next level or received a promotion or,
Right.
gained this new knowledge or experience that gave them fulfillment. And that gives me joy. And it's not a competition. It's it's not a competition.
I think the thing that's best suited for that is when they make it, not only they succeed, but you're a part of that succession. Especially if you were a part of their life and when they moved up, you were a part of what made them. So you got to feel happy for them. You got to be able to, hey, this and move on. And then you'll learn something from them as well, because they've got past that little hump.
It's a success for the collective.
Right. And I wish more of the paranormal field actually worked together like that. And I've met a lot of great people since I've been in the paranormal field. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of people that I really do like and I think are really good hard workers in this field. And if I talk to them, they'll share the knowledge with me.
Mm-hmm.
But then there's some of them that won't. They'll, like you said, they'll corral it. But if we would all open up and start sharing our knowledge with each other, like I said, and I've said this before on the round table when you were on there, I think we'd be farther in this field than what we are now if everybody would start being on somewhat the same page and helping each other out and sharing. Nobody's better than anybody else, and we're all in this to find answers, the ultimate answers. We want to know why.
Mm-hmm.
So that's
exactly.
We want to know the reasons behind some of this. And like you said, some people I think are gatekeepers, and I think some of us can pick that up and go around those gates without them knowing it. But it's better if we all got along and help each other.
Yeah.
It's this day and age is just crazy, and I've got a feeling this year is going to bring a lot of big stuff, and I still feel that.
Yeah.
It's going to be a lot of people that's going to just like, what the hell, But like I said, I've met a lot of great people. I've met people like you and Raven and Lillian and her sister there and everybody else, and a lot of great teams, and I'm glad I've worked with them, and I've worked with you a little bit, and I'm sure we're going to work together this summer for sure. And because I got a few things we're going to work on. I'm trying to get in the works right now, but we're definitely going to do that. But yeah, definitely so. Where can they find you, Alfredo? It's been an hour and 10 minutes, and
wow.
Time just flew on us, bud.
Yeah. You can find me at Spector Investigations and Paranormal Society on Facebook. You can also find me on Instagram at Spector Investigates, TikTok Spector Investigates. I also have a YouTube channel, Spector Investigations and Paranormal Society. If you want those links, you can go to Linktree and look for Spector_investigates.
Okay, that's awesome. And if you definitely want to get a hold of him, contact me and I can put you in touch with him as well, because I can get you to him. That is definitely for sure.
Thank you.
And like I said, I'm looking forward to working with you more this summer for sure. And we do got a lot in common, and you do some good work.
I can't wait to work with you again, Sean.
So, but we will definitely have you on again. And heck, maybe I'll even have you as a co-host on one night when we have somebody on. And I mean, between me and you, we can really dig into some stuff.
All right. Cool.
All righty. So definitely check out Alfredo and Spector Paranormal. And he's a great guy. He's got a lot of info. He's got a lot of great ideas, and he does an amazing job. So definitely check him out. And
thank you, Sean.
And like I said, I know me and him will be teaming up this summer for sure. And I think we're going to go to a paranormal expo here this summer as well. I mean, we're going to team up and go.
Yeah.
So we're definitely going to go there, and you might see us there this summer as well. So everybody definitely check out Alfredo. And like I said, a great investigator. He's a hell of a guy, and definitely check out his page. Next week on Eternal X Wolfpack Paranormal, I have Mary Spezia and Drew Katori. He is a director, and she is an actress. She also does FX stuff. She also does things with animals. She's been on my show before. We've done tarot cards as well. She will be coming on again, and we'll get an update with her as well and see how those guys are doing and what's in the plans for Drew and any new projects he's got coming up as well, along with Mary as well. So definitely next week, guys. We'll see you later. Have a great night. And don't worry about the Super Bowl. It doesn't matter who wins anyhow. So
go Liverpool. You'll never walk alone.
There you go. Have a great night, everybody. We'll see you next week. And hello, Linda. We'll catch you later.
Bye.